It is the power you have to express and communicate, to think, and thereby to create the events in your life. The word is the most powerful tool you have as a human. It is the tool of magic. Magic. I love that language. And you know, the first agreement is be impeccable with your word, because your word goes out and creates your reality and creates how other people see you and interact with you. So that is, I'm not going to be talking about the 4 agreements, but it's very important to recognize the power of word, the power of expression. And we all in this teaching have the choice to choose our words with conscious awareness, right? We have the ability to make a choice about the words we express. Now we know that thoughts happen, but you get to choose what thoughts you put into word, because words, when spoken, have a more expansive and a more powerful effect than just thoughts, because you are adding the power of vibration. We know that everything is vibration, right? Quantum physics has proved that all of life, everything has vibration. So when you employ the power of vibration to the thought through word and then speak it out loud, look at all of those amplifications of the power, right? Of the creative energy. So I want to share something with you that I use this power because I always treat out loud. Anybody else here treat out loud? Yes. So I have not written a treatment since very early days in my classes, because I always speak them. I send a lot of treatment out, but I do it, I talk to text and then I correct it, because I want to hear the words. Because I know, we all know, that I'm treating my consciousness, right? And so if I hear it out loud, it makes a greater impression. It impresses in a different way. So there's a difference between writing it and speaking it. I'm also a poet. And I know that the spoken word, when you speak it out loud, has a different effect than reading. When I read poetry that I love, not even, not mine, I read it out loud so that I can hear it in my own voice. Because when you hear it in your own voice, it has a different effect. It has a deeper effect. So, Florence Scovel Shinn, I don't know how many of you are familiar with it. Yes, okay. Yes, who was a New Thought, she was an artist and a New Thought writer from the late 1800s. She died in 1940. She wrote a book called Your Word is Your Wand, among many others. But she says, owing to the vibratory power of words, whatever man voices, he begins to attract. Whatever man voices, he begins to attract because of the vibratory power. So that is something that we can use. And this is something that you need to be conscious of, because the words that you use, you are giving power to, right? I know I shared here before about the negative voice in my head that I like to call Bertha. Well, I am very careful to not give Bertha the power of my voice. I hear it, but I try very hard not to speak with that voice, not to put that out into law. Because we know in this teaching, right, that what you put out, you're putting into law, and the law hears everything. The universe hears you. So you have to be mindful of the words that you choose, because you are putting them out there to demonstrate in your world. I have a great little story. Someone that I'm in a group with in this teaching, she said that she told the story about how she was complaining to her sister that she needed a break from caregiving, because she was doing caregiving for her father. She said, I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. Well, guess what happened? A couple of days later, she broke her foot. And yes, she got a break from caregiving, but she also got a break that she wasn't expecting. So we need to be careful of the language that we use, because what we are saying goes out into law and may come back to us in ways that we don't desire. One of my most favorite expressions or explanations of the power of word to change the outcome and to change the way that they affect people is something that I learned at my center from my minister, Reverend Frankie Timmers, and that is that in the Bible, it says, fear God, right? Well, that the original Aramaic, maybe you have all taken metaphysical Bible classes and you know this already, but in the original Aramaic, that word translates closer to awe than fear. So what a different experience is that? Be in awe of God, not be in fear. It changes the whole thing, right? It changes the direction, it changes the intention, it changes the way people receive it. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this, but I think it was done to manipulate and control people, so that it made people fearful so they would listen to what the priests were telling them. But anyway, it just goes to show the power of word and how important it is to choose words mindfully. We, in this teaching, we say love. Love is all there is, love, right? But love, in English language, love is such a generic word. It's used so often, right? In Greek, there are so many words for love. In Sanskrit, there are 96 words for love. Like, how amazing is that? How particular is that? And how is that gives one the ability to use word specifically, right? And use word powerfully. I love words. I love beautiful words. I love creative words. I love words I don't quite understand. I love etymology. Like I said, I'm a poet. I try to use words that are outside of my usual habits of speech, because I believe that they create, we always talk about being open at the top, right? That when you use different words, not necessarily bigger, but different words, more expressive words, more creative words, that you inspire other people to hear something different, to see a different vision. And so you're presenting a greater opportunity for people to grow and expand. And sometimes it might be a word that they don't know, but guess what? Then they get to look it up, right? It invokes curiosity. It invokes a different kind of energy. And so what are you building with your words? Are you creating a beautiful tapestry or mosaic of words carefully placed and chosen with mindful awareness to create the vision of what you desire? Or are you just vomiting out whatever comes to your mind first, right? I mean, just blah, 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 the same old words, the same old stories, without thought. And this is what we get to do on the spiritual path, and in this teaching, we get to be mindful. We get to choose what we say and how we say it, right? Because we know that intonation has a lot to do with how words are received. One of my favorite studies is a study about, we live in a texting culture, right? Everybody texts, and I'm guilty of it too. I want to call somebody, I'll say, are you free to take a call? And it feels respectful. It feels like I'm giving them space. But guess what? There's a great study that was done with mothers and daughters. And one group texted with their mother every day, and one group had a phone call with their mother every day. And guess what? The power of the spoken word, the vibration, the tonality, the sound, had a completely different effect. When you didn't have it, the texting created cortisol in their system, the stress hormone. Why? Well, how many of us text? There's miscommunication, there's misinterpretation, there's all kinds of things possible because you don't have the vibration and the tonality of the word. Those who got the phone call, it created oxytocin, which is the love hormone, the connection hormone, that which makes us feel safe and protected and one. It's the mother-child hormone. So, one, the power of your word has the ability to connect you. And technology often, even though it feels like connection, can often just create stress. So I just invite you to consider that the next time you want to call somebody and you choose to text them instead. No judgment, it's just something to consider. Tom Stoppard, who said, words are sacred. If you get the right ones in the right order, you nudge the world a little. I just love that. You nudge the world a little. So how are you nudging the world, right? What words are you bringing to the conversation? What words are you putting out into consciousness? We know there's only one mind, right? One creative power, and we are all a part of that. So we are interconnected in this one mind. So whatever you are putting out there is affecting everyone, whether you see it or not. You might see it directly with the people who are listening to you, but you are also affecting the general one mind. You are vibrating that web, that interconnected web. You are creating ripples in consciousness. So are you creating ripples of peace and harmony and love and joy? Or are you creating dissent and separation and divisiveness? That's your choice. That is always the choice. And it always comes back to awareness. It always comes back to being aware that you have this choice and pausing long enough to make it, right? One of the things that Don Miguel Ruiz says about being impeccable with your word is refraining from gossip and complaint. Well, you guys might have noticed that I have these rubber bands on my wrist. I have worn them for many years. I never take them off. They each have a different meaning. But one of them is my 28-day complaint-free bracelet. And I put this on about 7 years ago, and I have not managed to take it off. You're supposed to, the challenge was to go 28 days without a complaint, and then you can take it off. And you're supposed to, every time you catch yourself complaining, you switch it to the other wrist. And then you get back and forth, back and forth. I have not made it a single day. And it is amazing to me because I'm aware and I'm on a spiritual path and I am in consciousness trying not to complain. But do you know how much of our just general chatter and talk is complaint? When you really think about it and really pay attention, it's like, oh my God, I'm just conversing with people and everybody's complaining, right? And it's like, so it really creates space. It's very interesting. When you refrain from complaint, it creates a lot more space because it takes a lot of that chit chat out, because it's really amazing how much of that is negative and how much of that people just partake in without thought. But we, on a spiritual path, we get to take the pause and make the choice and do something different, right? So I'm not sure you're all familiar with Joel Osteen, right? He's a Christian minister, but there's a lot of things in other traditions that are just in alignment with our teaching because it is the wisdom of the ages, right? Truth is truth is truth. So Joel Osteen says, our words have creative power. With our words, we can speak blessings over our future, or we can speak negative things over our future. He also said, the power to see change in your life can be found in the words you speak. You have the power to set the destiny for your life by what comes out of your mouth. You have the power. So we get to plug into that, right? We get to choose to use that vibration of our voice, our beautiful music with, I don't have a singing voice. I don't sing by myself, but I do sing when I am led beautifully and when I am in community, when it is used to raise the vibration, to praise, and to bring us all together. Because our voices, the spoken word, can be used to divide, but can also be used to unite. One of my favorite examples is cheerleaders, right? So we live in a sports culture. There's always cheerleaders. Well, cheerleaders, what are they doing? They are using the power of the spoken word to unite the players, the audience, and themselves for what? For a demonstration of what they desire, which is to win, right? But they are doing that using the power of word, of the spoken voice, to unite everybody in this energy that is trying to create what they desire. It's a perfect demonstration of this teaching. It is a perfect demonstration of how you can use the power of the spoken word to create that which you desire. So I just love that. And sometimes it's important to recognize when you should use the power of your word. I may have shared this here before, but I tried to use the 3 Buddhist gates of, does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? And does it need to be said by me now? Because often the answer to all 3 is not yes. But sometimes, and this is really important, sometimes the answer is yes. And by not speaking, by not using the power of your voice, you are creating just as much chaos or just as much negativity as if you use it in a negative way. So this is where discernment comes in. This is where we rely on our inner guidance. This is where we get still and listen to spirit. Because what do we know in this teaching? That guidance is always there. That divine knowing, that intuitive guidance is within each of us. If we just slow down, pause, and are willing to listen. And that's what it all comes down to, right? Being willing to listen, being open to listen, and taking that pause, recognizing the power of words, choosing words that are healing, that create wholeness, that inspire and uplift others rather than create divisiveness. Is anyone else here listening to the 100 Days of Mindful Intention for our election that the Centers for Spiritual Living Atlanta are putting out? It's a beautiful thing, right? Because it uses language to shift the way that we are thinking about the election, rather than thinking about we have to win over them or us and them. It's all about a positive approach to oneness, to wholeness, to just affirming what we desire, which is the best good for everyone, right? A world that works for everyone. Isn't that what Centers for Spiritual Living is all about? So the use of word in this is really important and is really powerful. So how many of you use the power of word in your spiritual practice? Do you chant? Do you pray out loud? Do you do any of these things? Because we can use that vibration to support ourselves, to create wholeness, and to uplift others. But we can do it on a daily basis. We've done it already this morning, the songs that Reverend Rich has played for us. I've heard everybody's voice joining in, and we're going to do it again with another song at the end of the talk. So we can be that spirit of oneness. We can unify and uplift and empower each other with our choice of words. We can create beautiful tapestries that will uplift and support others. I want to say this one quote that's not in my thing here. Oh, words kill, words give life. They're either poison or fruit. You choose. Guess who said that? You would think it would be Ernest Holmes, right? Solomon. That's like really ancient, classic. So, this power of the word, the power that the creative energy of the word comes from the deepest history, the most, basic wisdom tradition is that this is our power. And we as humans get to speak it. We get to use it. We get to create the world in which we live. And we get the opportunity every day to use it for good or to use it for harm. So how are you vibrating the web? Are you using the power of your voice in a positive, uplifting way? Are you creating beautiful tapestries? Let's just think about what we can do if we are united in our voice, if we are united in our vibration, how we can uplift the planet, right? Whether it's through poetry or song or John is an actor. He knows the power of the spoken word. He knows the power of the vibration of voice. Actually, John once read a poem of mine at my center while someone else danced it, and the power of his voice gave so much more meaning and power to my poem. I was so grateful to have his dramatic skills in my word. So I know that you all know this, and I know that you come here to be fed and to recognize the power that you each have and to use it to uplift one another. So I'm going to close with a quote. I love quotes. So I have been collecting quotes since I was a child. I have books of quotes that I have written and saved over the years. Even when I go to AA meetings, because I have shared before that I'm in recovery, I make little notes of the things people say, anonymously, but because I love the frequency, the vibration of hearing something in someone else's words that really resonates with me, right? It allows me to hear it in a different way. And when I write it down and then I repeat it in my voice, which is what I do, I repeat it in my voice, it brings it even into a greater power. In AA, we have a thing where we encourage people to always go to your sponsor. If you're struggling, speak to your sponsor. Because when you speak, you are sharing and you are asking for help. But funnily enough, when I speak to my sponsor, most of the time, before she even says anything, as I'm sharing, I'm hearing the answer. It's like, because the power of speaking it out loud allows me to hear it in a different way. And by the time I'm finished talking, I already know. It's like, yeah, okay, I got it. I heard myself say it and now I know better. And so often and that's the same thing as going to a practitioner, right? You go to a practitioner and a practitioner hears what you're saying and repeats it back to you in the voice of spirit, repeats it back to you because you already have the inner wisdom within. And so it's about hearing it and using the power of the word and voice to help direct people to spirit. That's what a practitioner does, right? So I just wanted to say that I try to be mindful of my words. I try very hard to speak with awareness and to pause. I don't do it very well. I'll tell you right now. My boyfriend will tell you I often shift. But here's the thing. Because I am on the spiritual path and because I am aware, when I am speaking, as I'm saying it, like I said, when I hear myself saying it, as I'm saying it, I will realize, oh, shoot, I'm not sure about that, or I don't want to say that, or I don't want to affirm that. And so mid-sentence, I shift from a declarative thing I'm saying to a question, by intonation or by saying, right? Or is that true? Or something at the end, because I realize as I'm hearing it, ooh, maybe that's not true. Or maybe I don't want to affirm that. And so I shift mid-sentence, drives my boyfriend crazy. But it affirms for me the power of not affirming what I don't desire, right? And we get to make that choice today. So I think my time is up. So I'm going to close us out with a quote. And then Rev Rich is going to lead us in a song where we can all raise our vibration, together in unison, and create that energy. So here is a great quote by Paramahansa Yogananda, because truth is truth, right? And it goes across all traditions. And he says, words saturated with sincerity, conviction, faith, and intuition are like highly explosive vibration bombs, which, when set off, shatter the rocks of difficulties and create the change desired. Shatter the rocks of difficulties. I just love that. Creative, because instead of creating, bombs that go out and create havoc and are harmful, they shatter the rocks of difficulties when directed correctly, when spoken with faith and intuition, right? So let's go out today and let's shatter the rocks of difficulties. Let's uplift the world with the power of our thoughts. Let's raise each other in vibration, and let's use our voices to sing now with Reverend Rich. Thank you,
I thought we'd do God and Speak, because everybody knows how. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. I said, guide my feet while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. I'm a child while I run this race. Yeah, I'm a child while I run this race. I said I'm a child while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Know my truth. I said know my truth while I run this race. Know my truth while I run this race. I said know my truth while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
That's an oldie.
Well, this is my favorite part of the service. The one in which I get to affirm that I am abundant. And when each one here affirms that they are abundant, something within happens that allows you to become part of that power circulation. So I'm going to invite you to just stay in that frame of mind. I know that we do not give because God needs the gift, but because the giving increases, broadens, and deepens the life of the giver. Nor shall we give from the standpoint of duty. The universe refuses to bargain with us. It already has given us everything it has, but it has provided. But it also has provided that the gift of life can be received in its fullness only as it flows through us to the fullness of others. So as the basket is going around in this space, I invite you to know that this center believes in the power of the spoken word. And that this center is what it is, and it's able to serve the people out there and the people here because of your generosity. And in using that generosity, you're making a statement, a very clear statement about your understanding of being one with the power of abundance. So as I receive these, I'm going to bless these gifts, knowing that divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. And for those of you that are not here but would like to contribute, I invite you to log into cslprinceton.org and click the button that says donate. And if you feel so moved, to also request that we treat for whatever challenge you may be experiencing. We're a community that has many practitioners that want to practice that power of the word, of the spoken word. I would like to help you be a choice. I know that always, always, always you can choose to get a miracle. That is the power of abundance, and that is what this center stands for. So, thank you very much. I don't know, Laura, if you would like to close or bring Rick.
Well, here we are.
Yeah.
But knowing that there is only one. There's only one power, one presence. There's only it's divine consciousness, and it makes everything. It has made everything, continues to make everything. And if we truly believe, we can even go backwards and remake everything. It's the most wondrous, wonderful thing, and it's so much power, and there's so much presence, and there's so much in it that we can't imagine it because it's just all around us, and it's making us go, and it's making us move, and it's making this whole ball of wax, all of the planets and everything going, and we are one with it. There's nothing else. It's an amazing, wonderful thing, and I declare that this meeting, this celebration of the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton is a good thing. It goes forward as a good thing, and it goes backwards as a good thing. It goes backwards and moves other things so that we are in this present moment. So knowing all is true, all is good, I give thanks to that which indwells everything, which makes everything go, which makes everything be here. That is consciousness. So I invite you to join me in melding with that consciousness by saying, and so it is. It's done.
So it is.